share my internship experiences with all of you. My intern was more of a research based rather than observation, where I gained lots of knowledge on my chosen inquiry question. So let's begin. I did my internship at UIT with Robin Ruttenberg-Rosen, where we researched how coding can help understand and build a child's learning experiences. Some of the questions that were targeted were: how do students really feel about learning coding? How do their teachers feel about teaching coding? What can we learn from understanding these feelings, and how can we use this understanding to help support our students and each other in navigating this new environment? This internship was built from course themes to take a close and in-depth look at attitudes and emotions related to learning and teaching coding and how to foster positive experiences. So my inquiry question drove from the idea of how comfortable children are getting with new technology, such as coding, within the classroom to build positive experiences. My internship was not observation based, as explained before. It is more of a research based where I found my findings through many articles and theories. And throughout this video, I'll be explaining my journey with this internship and my research process. So, to begin with, my question for my internship was: how are children fostering positive experiences by learning to cope with coding? So, my learning goal for this internship was: I am learning to do an independent research through a problem based learning for a deeper understanding of students coping with coding. So, this was my learning goal for my internship, as explained, where I hope to gain an experience in doing an independent research based off of a theoretical framework. I can successfully say that I have achieved my learning goal by collaborating my findings and research with my internship group. Through research, I was able to understand how students use coding as to have a positive effect on their learning experiences. The research that I have done not only talks about students applying their programming skills within classrooms, but how it is benefiting them with new learning experiences that they can foster in the future. So some of the success criteria that I had are: I will know I am successful when I can analyze how students coping with coding impact their learning and how that can be utilized in the classroom. I am able to use different research methods to collect my data. I am able to apply the research to my own teaching practices. I am able to reflect on my findings from my research. And lastly, I have used different research methods to characterize the various emotions, skills, and attitudes connected with student learning to code. I can also successfully say that I have met most and all of these success criteria throughout my internship based off of my research. So I will be explaining what I have found in my research through many articles and theories, and the collaboration of group work that I have done with my internship liaison and my group members. In my research, I have found that students using programming and coding as a base of learning new experiences enhance their learning abilities. In my research, I have found that as computing and coding are being introduced as a new subject in the school curriculum, it is important to see the informal learning opportunity as well. With this idea, one of the articles that has explored the factors in which teachers face curriculum change and teach computing skills, the constructivist theory based on the work of Dewey, Piaget, and Bruner, suggesting that learning is a cumulative and active process, is described in the articles within my research, which shows how computational thinking and using the skills of computing can help problem solving among students. This idea has been solidified with the research presented in this article, where the strategies of coding and computing has been analyzed and described both as successful strategies for learning and teaching. I can also say in my research, I have found that Burke and Caffey's ideas have explicitly explained how coding and programming have taught children in the classroom fundamental concept of coding within the curriculum. There has been a positive correlation between programming and writing within classrooms as children learn the key concept of coding. Part of my research shows how, by using programming coding, students impact their learning and how that can be utilized in the classroom. The research not only talks about students applying their programming skills within the classroom, but how it is benefiting them with new learning experiences. Many students feel nervous writing or taking part in oral communication. However, with this online coding environment, they cope with those barriers by coding and programming. Overall, my research in this internship has showed me that coding was found to be a positive experience to their learning development, and that computing can be a powerful means of self-expression and problem solving. So the theoretical framework that I have used for my internship is the problem-based learning theory. This type of learning has direct experience of the approach and is committed to the need to find various alternative to indefensible practices in traditional teaching. Bowd and Vladdy's book explains that idea behind problem-based learning, which is the starting point of learning. The starting point should be a problem, where the learner then wishes to solve with various strategies. This type of learning is a way of constructing and teaching problems for students' activity and conceiving their curriculum. Educators always need to keep in mind that with this type of learning, the beginning part is their focus to find solutions to, rather with exposition of disciplinary knowledge. My research has to do with a problem in the beginning, which is students figuring out how to use coding in their learning processes. This theoretical framework provides an umbrella to my inquiry because with different strategies, students are learning to solve their problems to code. This is a problem-based research because students are critically thinking from the start, trying to cope with their skills by using coding. So these are the resources I used to compile my research and findings. This has been a wonderful experience where I gained lots of knowledge for my future teaching pedagogies, and I hope you learned something from my internship as well. Thank you for listening.